I'm a managing I'm a managing director of iCrane Services Limited. It's an environmental company. We've been around for 10 years. I also co-direct a company called MD Match Limited. We essentially distribute for high-profile companies like Nestle's and all the likes and all that. So um, we're everywhere in Akwa Ibom, we're in Imo State, and in Port Harcourt, in Abia State. Yeah, I don't want to speak too much about myself, but it's always good to encourage people. I've been picked by Guardian's newspaper as one of the most Nigerian, 100 most Nigerian innovative CEOs as well to really.
Wow, wow, such a privilege to be here, sir. What a privilege to
Yeah,
have you here, sir. Wow.
yeah, thanks. I mean, I've got a whole lot of few national recognition, like from the Legacy Award. So I got an award from that. But that's not really what is important. What is important is that anybody can become somebody. No matter how bad your business, no matter how bad your life is, you can lead yourself practically to a better you. So I was raised in a mud house. But when we were raised in a mud house, there were about 18 of us. And significantly, one of the attributes of such house is complaint. And everybody will lose their sense of clarity of the assignment or even the identity. So we will now start complaining, and complaining will begin to drain our creativity. But one of the things that helped me from childhood was that I had clarity about value system. How that came about, I do not know. So there are two ways we live life. We live life either from a motivated point of view, and motivation will always come from external rather than internal. But I think, or you live life from inspired life, whether in leadership, whether in anything. So I realized that a lot of us are struggling in our leadership space. And I'm going to be categorizing what will make us better leaders when we talk about value and vision. I will tell you how that have helped me stay in African region. So let me start by saying that while they were complaining, I lived an inspired life unconsciously. So I told myself that I was going to lead myself from the mud house to a marble. So it means the moment you talk about leadership from a mud to marble, you are creating a path. And in that path, it is not pathless path, it's a path. And so you see that you are leading yourself. That means you own it. You're accountable to yourself and you're responsible. And that mental construct or mental fluidity will govern how you lead either from a motivated point or inspired point. So for me, that is the beginning of the journey of how to lead yourself from one point to another point. So how do we come into values and vision? Clinically, we are sometimes very confusing. It's so confusing to even find out a value structure that you embody, that represent you. So I'll be taking time to start from the foundation and build around it. To find your values, even to find your vision. Because most visions are externally constructed and not constructive inwardly. So how did I start from here? The first thing that will lead you into value and vision is to find out your what we call essential identity. Let me say it again. Essential identity. We have three categories of identity that we function from. Number one, primarily is your calling identity. What is calling identity? My name is Patrick Uduma. What if I have another Patrick Uduma around? So if you call us, we are going to respond. And that means that nobody's responsible to that call. We are all responsible to that call. So I am Patrick Uduma, and he's a Patrick Uduma, another Patrick Uduma. Now, the second identity is what we call professional or duty identity. Professional or duty identity. That means I am a mentor or a managing director of organization, or I am an engineer, or I'm a doctor, or I'm a content writer. So this is Patrick Uduma, my calling identity. Now, if we are two or three Patrick Uduma, what distinguishes us is our now duty or professional identity. So if I'm a doctor, if I'm a lawyer, if I'm a teacher, if I'm a driver, whatever I am, maybe I'm a designer, I'm a pharmacist and all that. So what if I have two Patrick Uduma and both of them are pharmacists? You will see that both of us will be pharmacists in different formation. And that is what will bring us to the third identity, what we call the essential identity, or what we can call the divine identity, or what you call your naturalness, your natural identity. So let's say I am Patrick Uduma, another person is a Patrick Uduma. Now, that Patrick Uduma, we are teachers. You will see we are going to teach differently. In the same curriculum, if you do an assessment of all the students or the people, you will find out that both of us, though we are in the same Patrick Uduma teacher, our individual nature will play in how we teach and the kind of outcome we create. And our source of influence will be different. Because, truthfully, our nature, which is our essential identity, will consistently inspire how we treat people. Let me give you an instance. Now, I am a builder. One of the things I do is to build. If you give me a dead person, I can build a dead person to life. So it means if you see, as a teacher, you give me a child that is what you call dummy, my relationship with that person will be different because I will be inspired by a capacity to build that person from dummy into excellence. Another person who is not inspired by his divine identity will call this person naughty. And don't blame that leader because he is motivated from outside, not inspired from within. Now, I am an enlightener. My method of leading in organization is to model expectation. Because if I get to work, for instance, we resume work by 8 o'clock. I had to be at work by 7:30 or 7:45. I cannot lead by word. I'm going to lead by enlightenment. Enlightenment means that this is possible. I get into a space, for instance, where everybody is moody. I'm not going to judge them from the moodiness to react from them. I'm going to be inspired from that. I'm an enlightener. What can I do to crack joke or humor to bring them alive? So I'm an aliver. So each time I come in, I am conscious about who I am, not what people are. So you now see that another Patrick Uduma who has identity crisis will be reactive. Meanwhile, I will respond based on inspiration of my identity. That's why identity is the core foundation to value system and vision. So now, in this hierarchy, now I have gone ahead to discover the third level of my essential identity, an enricher. An enricher means I am careful. I'm so careful and considerate. So when people get to me, my kindness will interpret their unkindness. And that's why we hear something like, you're not kind until you're kind to the unkind. Now, because my identity as an enricher embodies generosity, liberality. So it means that as I connect with people, I do not connect from them from who they are. I connect them from me. My interpretation of events will not be based on the circumstances, but who I am. Because we live the world from who we are, not from what the world is. We are influenced by who we are to judge the world, not from here. So let me give instance. I walk into my office, one of the offices I oversee. So I walk in, one of my colleagues were lying down flat. Apparently, maybe she was going through her cycle and all that, and it was painful, so she was lying down. And this was about 9 o'clock when the peak of job starts. When I saw her, I went to lie down with her. And I said, oh, I'm going with you with this pen. Now, you see, I didn't allow our job or profit to influence me, but allow my nature as a builder, as a lightening her burden or identifying with her burden. As an enricher, how can I find solution to her pain? By identifying with her pain and bring her back into full capacity functioning. Another person said, what are you doing in this office? By 2 o'clock? By 9 o'clock? Go home. You see the two different patterns. Why identity, if you discover your identity and your identity formed your life, it influences your productivity, it influences your wellness, the richness of your life and your leadership. Okay, so you see, now having articulated this now, let's move it forward. Your identity will fund directly your assignment. People are confused of assignment or what we call purpose or what you call duty. But you see, when you understand who yourself is, it is very easy to take a leadership position because I know that I'm a builder, I'm an enricher, I'm an enlightener. So most of those times you find out that I am coaching on my leadership. Why? My personality dictates it, influences it. So your identity will form your assignment. Most people are struggling with this. I cannot take a situation. If I get into a home, what will I do? Because I wake up every morning and say, what should I know? What should I do? What should I love? And what should I hope? You see that there are no expectations here. I am duly funded by assignment. Receiving is outside my scope. But what I perform, what I do, what I bring to the table is what I can control. So we say that outcome is a gift. So now you see, now I'm not confused about my duty. My professional life is funded by my identity. So now, how do we craft vision? Vision must be inspired by assignment, fueled by your identity. So people, when I ask most people, what is your personal vision? You say, I want to rule the world. How can you rule the world without ruling yourself? So you're ruling the world and they are losing their life. I want to touch 10,000 people. You are not touching yourself, you're touching 10,000 people. Oh, I want to be the best person in the world. You are not being the best version of yourself. So majority of us do not have personal vision, which must be inspired by your assignment, that it's influenced by your identity. So what is my vision, for instance? As simple as it is, betterment. Betterment. Now, going back to my identity, see, my identity is an enricher. Enricher means enriches life. Now, enlightener means educate, bring people into awareness, patiently understanding people. I'm a builder. So a builder means everything that you see is a raw material. For ugly, you find beauty. For weakness, you find strength. For uselessness, you see raw material to become. For a dry nation, you see opportunity. You now see how that has cascaded into functionality, which is your duty. Now influencing my vision, which is betterment. If you give me your car now, I'm not thinking about just enjoyment. I'm thinking about how will you remember that I was here? And then Richard used your car. I can refuel that car. I can put a note in that car. I can clean the car. I can do something to show that, add it. Maybe if it was so scratchy, I have the time, I can polish it. Now, what is happening? My enricher is influencing my assignment, and my assignment is influencing my vision, and my vision is betterment. Let me bring it on. So now, if you give me a young lady who comes to interview, who will come to my space to get a job, I will find her vulnerability and her need, because our need makes us vulnerable, but our assignment makes us valuable. So now, when I look at the lady, for instance, I'm not going to take advantage of her because my nature will forbid me. I will think about her need as a raw material to helping her, to enrich her, to build her, and to enlighten her the more. So why? My vision will play radically on my decision, or influences my emotion, or influences my perspective. So now I will see her into betterment. Let me explain. You know that leadership is not about climbing the mountain. Leadership is become the vehicle to gracefully unlock that potential into possibility. That means that I see that you can climb this mountain, but you do not have the enablement or the capacity. Now, I do not see the incapacitation. I see the potential. Now, it is my building nature to find blocks for you to escalate you into that mountain. And it's going to come effortless. Why? I'm a builder. You see how my identity is influencing my assignment on every minute. And that assignment, it brings me such a rich creativity, brings me clarity, creativity, contribution, confidence, and commanding. Because you see, what this thing does, it brings you clarity. And once you have clarity, you have creativity. And once you have creativity, you think about contribution. Once you have contribution, you have talk about confidence. Once you have confidence, you now have about commanding. What is commanding? Establishing expression. Are you getting? See how the connection about the vision? So better, if I get into I went into an office recently where I cut my hair. It's a salon. And I look at they have potential, but they are so disorganized. There's no distinguishment between the workers and people that comes in there. A bit of organization. So when I got there, it wasn't my beauty. They didn't pay me. Of course, I was paying. I gathered them and I told them, I started training them. After training them, I got them a t-shirt, and now they are a bit of organization. I went there to cut my hair. They didn't pay me, but naturally, you see that you are flowing, you are inspired from that position to reorganize. Did they pay me? No. My potential will be useless until they find expression. So you see, going there means that I can better that place. So that's why vision now interpret to everything you do. Whether it's a nation, I'm praying for nation and Nigeria. Because why? It is my duty to bring betterment. So I walk into a street where I moved on recently, and I felt that that place where highbrow people, intelligent, who and who that live in that. But the street was very dirty, signifying that the people there were dirty. So two things would have happened. I would have become them, and I'm going to be talking about becoming. I would become them and be like them. But my nature would just refuse. I started cleaning the street. As I cleaned the street, I planted flowers, put waste management over there. Some they moved out. But I can't be irritated by their own personality that is finding expression. So now I've employed people who clean the streets. What have I done? I have brought betterment to the street. I've also brought betterment to the people around there. What is influencing it? It is my identity formed by assignment that has inspired the vision of betterment, that's finding expression in how you live. I don't know whether somebody's getting this, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, we're following, sir.
Yes, now to progress from there, it means that it is your vision that will embody your value system. It is your vision that is inspired by your assignment, that is fueled by your identity. If you want to ask question, just write it down. Once I finish, then you can ask question. So let me just finish now. System. So now, because I'm a builder, because now I am an enlightener, I am an enricher, that will form essential, because value system are your character, and your character is your destiny orchestrators. It is what form your culture. It is the solidity base upon which your life function. It is what will create your priority in life. It is what will determine how far you will go. So, what are my formulas? See, my embodiment of my value system are in S structures. You need to enrich your mental world and structure so that there are no confusion. There are always clarity streaming from when I take decision, I can't regret it. Because you know why? My value system, which is my nature, fund those decisions. That's why it has to be inspired, not motivated. If you are a leader and you are motivated to do stuff, you will run out of energy. But if you are a leader that is inspired by your value system, you will realize that you are fluid in your decision. You realize that you are so constructive in your thinking approach. You will see that your mental structure will be so structured, and the fluidity will interpret. You won't have fixed mental structure. You have what they call floating into your value system. So I can go anywhere. I will not lose my value, but I can adapt their mind, treat them from where they are through my value consciousness. So what are my values? Number one is goodness. So you now see how I interpret badness from goodness. When people say they are in loss, they are depressed. When I'm in loss, I'm empowered, I'm enriched. Because my foolishness must become wisdom of my future. I call it the future brain. And future brain are cultivated in foolishness, even in failures. So I relate with my failures or mistakes from the point of good, because once your eyes is not fixed on who you are, then the controlling influence is external. But when you represent your value system, it inspires your creativity to be on top of a problem. So, goodness. When I get into my office, I say, good. Even though my people are bad, I cannot see them from the point of bad. Then I would devalue my build as a builder. Because as a builder, the instrument of your assignment is to turn rubbish into edifice. If you see an organization going down, as a builder, your assignment is to build structures, to build method, to build systems, to build policies that will be instrumental for the revival or restructuring. So if you give me a bad business, I will turn it because I'll see a good opportunity. If you give me a bad country like Nigeria, I will see a good opportunity and I will turn it. If you give me a bad person, it is for me to showcase my goodness. You see how my value now is interacting and interpreting and helping me influence my decision on people, on events. Then what is the second one? Kindness. Kindness means that you are compassionate. You are non-judgmental to yourself. When you're less judgmental about yourself, let me explain. So one day, my colleague, let me use my colleague, made a decision. And that decision backfired, and where we lost about $27,000. And she really wanted to resign. And I called her to my office. I said, listen, if you resign in low level. But you got to be here that we have made a mistake of 27 million. We won't repeat it again. But if you go, we won't learn the lesson. It means another person will make that mistake again and cost us the same thing. So why don't you stay here to create a barrier? I was interpreting it from the point of kindness as a leader. Because if you treat her from the point of profit, you will lose. You will lose that experience. You won't convert it. And once you become kind to yourself, it's likely you're going to be kind. People say, oh, you'll be weak. No. Now, the next one is respect. Respect is something that we think is when you're honoring people. No, that's part of it. Respect means respect people's opinion. Nobody can hurt you. In fact, nobody can abuse you. If you respect their voice, it is their own. It's only when you internalize it and personalize it through self-seeking that you say they are hurting you. Nobody can break your heart. Let me even tell you, nobody can treat you bad. They can only treat you from where they are coming from, not where you are. People will treat you from their nature, not from their nature. So I respect people. I respect the law. I respect structures and organization and over there. And it gives you the neutrality to express or to interpret or to choose how to relate to those situations. So you are not in a reactive mood, you are a responding mood because you are now influenced by your value system. The next one is hardworking. Hardworking is ability to reconcile, to be in harmony with your three regions of life. Your mental world, your spiritual world, and your emotional world. How do you consistently tune in such a way that they are always in harmony? It takes mindfulness. I just finished one couple meeting and I'm here. I enjoy what I do. I'm not stressed. People say they are stressed, they are not inspired. I'm not talking about fatigue, where you need to take a break. No, I'm talking about when people say they are stressed at job. When you're stressed at job, your value is not dictating you. The job is dictating you. When you say this family is killing me, your value is not influencing you. The family is influencing you. So that leads me to the fifth one, order. Order means organization. I walk into my office and I saw paper littered on the floor. I'm the managing director. They know that I have excellent spirit. Your value must not upset you. When we talk about OCD is a different thing. They are not mindful. They are not value people. OCD means that you want to control external things to conform to your internal reality. You won't allow people preference to align to your preferences. No. It means that your value is driving you. So when I got there, instead of casting, who threw this paper? Well, what is this paper? I knelt down, I packed all the paper and put where they are supposed to be. Until date, each time I go to that place, they put it in order. Not because they forced them, but because it doesn't mean anything, it's meaningless. I model expectation. That's orderliness. Every time you see non-profiting organization, go and check. There's no systematic order in place. In fact, wealth is associated to order. Any organization that you see progressively they are not doing, go and check. They do not understand the order. So it is important to put to so you see, when I get into a space, I've gone into an office that has nothing to do with me, and a radio station where I pay. Please, can you mute yourself? You're not talking, please. I'll really appreciate. There's a feedback. Thank you. Now I went into this organization and I realized that there were so many cobwebs. Everything was not. I didn't criticize them. In fact, value will find your expression or will activate your inherent ability and capability to find expression, not to criticize. Because criticism without contribution is useless. Don't criticize me if you cannot contribute to me. So I call it the CC. Criticize if I'm criticizing you that your shoe is not fine, I'm buying you shoes. If I'm criticizing you that you have a body odor, I am already activating responsibility to buy you shave, to buy you. If I can't do it, I send somebody to teach you how to do it. If I see that your English is not okay, I don't need to criticize you. I'm enlisting you to go and polish your English. You see how your identity as a builder, as an enlightener, is influencing assignment, is influencing betterment, which is your vision, is now influencing your value system, which is the body that governs you. Then the next one is patience. As a leader, one of the great characteristics is connection. Connection means inclusiveness. We need to be inclusive in our leadership. Once you separate, you create a bundle of poverty. Leadership are separating themselves. And why? And once you separate yourself, you are deactivating the power, the richness, the infinite power of unity, oneness. Okay, let's say I have all the knowledge and nobody tune in. Will I find expression? So I need to be patient enough to know that inclusivity is part of life. What's the next one? Is to find a place of understanding. Patient means understand until the divine order is revealed. We are too much in a hurry. I learned that from the other species. If you see plants, they understand this patiently. I have a coconut tree I planted. They told me that coconut is going to be like 3 years or 4 years, start fruiting. If you see it, they are not interested in fruiting. They're interested in becoming solid in their structure, patiently waiting for method to come in them. Because that time they are putting structure and method, solidity, their firm and all that. So as they are over there, they're understanding their time and season. They know when it's rainy season, how to modify their mind and put a structure that can cope with that. They know when it's dry season. They're accumulating a lot of things. This is what we call system, structure, strategy. It takes patience to build it. So I'm excited about that. You see how patience began to dictate you. So you bring somebody, you employ somebody today. Oh, you're not performing. Back, 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 back. No. Understanding. That's you're honoring them. And the more you honor them, the more you teach them a model honor. Okay, so something happened. We had invited somebody to make what we call bole in our region. It's plantain and fish. And so this vendor had come in and everybody has ate. And they went back and washed their plate, everybody. And it was not their duty. So the guy said, what happened? He said, we're a place of honor. We showcase honor. Why? Inherently, they saw me washing my plate. Each time I go to the pantry, I will wash my plate. I'm the managing director. But patiently, you have to be able to infuse the character content that will develop into culture. But people are looking for organizational culture. What creates organizational culture is nothing but the elementary value that shape into our character, and the character will now create into culture. So the other one is love. Ladies and gentlemen, love is an energy of productivity. Love is an energy of governance. Love is an energy of leadership. If you see me dancing in my office like this with security men, I love them. And they know they love me. Why? It's the highest energy of connection, of productivity. He said, no, if I talk to them, they don't have respect. That's why they don't respect you. They respect you because they fear you. And after there, in fact, as you are going, you say, idiot, go away. But when you carry love, naturally, man, when you leave office, they go miss you. They don't miss. They are bosses, they are leaders, they can't miss. As soon as they leave. So love is not judgmental. Because now you are flowing from your identity, and your identity, fuels your assignment, and your assignment has shaped a vision like betterment. So you see betterment everywhere, and it's very easy to flow. You love the road, you love the children. I mean, the flexibility of your mind and the productivity and the functionality, it just fluid. Then finally, keep your promise. Keep your promise. Man, if I promise you, unless I forget, but please, if I forget, remind me. When you begin to keep your promise, you become dependable. When you become dependable, you can create trust. When you create trust, that is the foundation of optimizing, in fact, optimizing profitability, sustainability, and growth. And now what it does is that you move from growth into mastery. From mastery, now you move into strength. And what strength does, you create trust. Once you have trust, once trust is the base of your business, what happens is that you become secured. Once you are secured, there's something about strength in security. That means there's a strength. And strength gives you sweetness of spirit, quality spirit. Then what it does, it brings confidence. So you now see how keeping your word will affect your accountability, dependability. So you now begin to attract more people, because when you make a promise and you keep it. So you now see how from identity to assignment to vision to embodiment of values, how on a day-to-day it influences your decision making, your relationship, your management, and your approach and your thinking pattern. It influences your perspective, which influences your thinking pattern, which enriches your imagination. And consistently, you see that you are just effortlessly, gracefully, unforced, making decisions. And I tell you, hey, I'm glad, I'm happy. My growth, it's evident, really. I'm not talking from, and you can see that I did not look into any book. I didn't have any notes. I'm speaking from what I practice on a daily basis. And that's how your vision and your value intertwine in your leadership. I don't know if anybody have a question.
Wow. Thank you so much. That was awesome. Okay, someone has a question. Mr.
Okay.
Dekule, please go ahead and ask your question. Okay, we have two persons raising their hand. Mr. Dekule, can you unmute your mic so that you can take up your question?
Good evening.
Good evening, sir.
I want to paint this scenario. How will your system work in an environment where those you met there, they don't know, and they don't want anybody to tell them they don't know. You know that what's on ground is not accurate. It's not delivering the best value. You know that they don't know. They don't want any. As there been a practice, they believe that the output is the optimum. But when you came, you saw the lapses, but you discovered that these people, they don't want anybody to come and tell them that they don't know. This structure, this system is not working. They don't want anybody to tell them that it's not working. And they're not ready to change. So they don't want anybody. In fact, they see you as an outsider. You are not welcome.
You can't change anybody, sir.
Okay, so but the system is not working.
Okay, so now this is how it is. I took out an organization that was dead, completely dead. The managing director used to carry check and go to beer parlor and write company's check and pay. And when he pays, of course, when there's reconciliation, accountant will now know that, oh, Oga is. So in Oga's excitement, accountant will push his own check. And Oga will not have the morality to say no, because accountant will convince him. Then he will sign. And I realized that the place was completely rotten. Now, I didn't want to change the system. I had to change me to change the system. So I developed what I call the AAAAT. The first thing you do is accept it. Don't fight it. Fighting is futility. Acceptance is neutral. Once you have accepted, not because you are indifferent, nor because you don't want the system to work, but honestly, every time you resist a system, you create a resisting defense. But once you accept them and recognize them, you have adopted their mind to see how they think. Because essentially, like you said, God has given us 5 things that we all have. There's a certain level of knowledge. In fact, the depth of your knowledge will determine how free you are and how your organization. When you see a dead organization, is ignorant that is ruling them. When you see a man that is in debt continually, is ignorant. If he comes into certain knowledge, you'll find out that ignorance and turn into different things. God has given us mind. And the mind structure we have, what people call mindset, we call it mind form, will determine how you relate with your job. A bad person will bring a bad result. A bad thinking will bring a bad leadership. So that's the mind. The other one is that we have choices, which is influenced by the kind of mind we have based on the knowledge that is within our mind. So that will influence the choice, which will influence the type of management. Then the other one, we have a certain perspective, the way we see things. You are seeing things from a very moral, ethical, spiritual point. Another person is seeing from what can we grab from this system. This system is not our own. If not because of this job, because of money, I can't even. So you see how these things work. What do you do is, first of all, don't fight the system. Accept it that this is the way it is. What did I do? Adapted them, accepted them, adjusted to the parameters. Because if you don't adjust to their level, you can't lead them out of there. You need to be able to understand their thinking power, what is influencing that. If you don't change the root, it's like a house is smelling. Then you want to put perfume. It won't work. You need to find out what is creating that odor. Once you hit it from the root, then you can change. So now, once you now understand where they are thinking patterns, what is influencing what they are doing, you hit it from the root and not a fault. So I took this system. So one day they gave me a check. They said, go and cash the check. They said, what's the check for? He said, that's how we do here. We don't know when money will come. I said, not me. It's unaccountable. I kept the check. Did they punish me? They punished me. But at some point in the future, they started trusting me. Because I have demonstrated in kindness, non-judgmental, non-resisting, compassionately. Because in compassion, there's a transformation. But in resistance, there's a struggle. So I started modeling department by department, no easy, until I found the root. When I found the root, we're able to deal it from the root, and the root from leadership. And once we're able to harness leadership, secure them, bam, they almost killed me, I'm telling you. They starved me of funds to function. It's part of it. Because that's why I see if you're a transformer leader, the first thing you need, we have transformational leader, we have adaptive leaders, and we have inclusive leaders. And these are strange leadership model that is not out there. So when I adapted it, you see, it requires patience. And that organization came from zero back into life. And there was a time I knew it was my time. I have finished what I need to do. You know what I did? I asked God to help me to relocate me. And he relocated me because my assignment. That's why when you're funded by assignment, your vision is betterment. Focus on that. Don't try, be. I don't know what I helped you.
Mr.
To a certain extent.
Okay, go ahead.
Let me paint the second scenario.
Yes, sir.
Will you handle a situation whereby they said his father rules us, he cannot rule us? His father is the managing director for so long, and they came in, wanted to take the position, he won't rule us, he met us here. And they begin to give you all sorts of problems. How will you do?
Well, number one, you know that you have a choice to resign, or you have a choice to adapt to that system. But let me explain. So I worked under two managing directors. The first managing director was a liberal person who understands the power of training. And we were working in that organization. Of course, we have no control about who the successor will be. So one day, they brought a lady who from nowhere do not know the system. Inherently myself, I say, I can't work with this lady. You see how your mindset have already judged that person, what we call premature judgment. So, and I said I wasn't going to work. Who was suffering? I was the one that was suffering. Because already there was friction. Already we are judging them based on where that we have stayed in this place. Who is this person coming? Entitlement comes in. Addiction of where we are comes in. And fixation comes in. Because we're not flexible. The fluidity of our mind has been certain preference. And you see, when people hurt us. They are not, it's not what they do that hurt us. It's what they do, what they have done that did not align to our preference. That's what hurt us. So how can I adjust it? So now I said, okay, hey, I can deal with this woman. I looked at her weak point and I said, I will be a strength. Unforcing. So one day she made a mistake. I embraced her and I laughed. I said, you know that I'm so sorry that you made this thing. Oh, I'm sorry. Can I help you over there? So I was able to help her. You see, what you sow comes back to you. If you sow resistance, you will get defense. If you sow acceptance, you might think you are losing something, but you're losing to gain. Because most times we don't want to lose in order to gain. So I lost myself. And eventually she cornered me and said, what happened? Nobody will resist love in humility. What frustrates us is our prejudgment time that put a particular resentment on us. And once you are resenting, bitterness comes in, it poisons you bad. So letting go and surrendering and acceptance is one key factors that you can relinquish, because you see, that person is what they call shifting reality. Nothing is permanent. The only permanent thing is shifting reality. So I now started warning her, moving into her, until she find trust. Because once you employ somebody in organization, first of all, they're intimidated. They want to bring themselves into that system to assert authority. And if you assert authority, that's rebellion. Both of us are cracking. But if you make them comfortable, you might think you are losing. In the long run, he that wants to be friendly must first of all sow friendship. If you intentionally sow friendship, it may not seem like you are getting it, but you win that friendship. But once you have already have a mind structure, mind form, mindset on that person, who've been here, who be you? You that we just got to know. Do you know how this thing run? You will lose yourself and lose her. But once you accept her and embrace her and show sense of friendship, it's all of us are vulnerable. Oh. Even as I am, I'm vulnerable. And anybody who understands my vulnerability and become a strength to my vulnerability will capture my mind.
Wow, thank you very much for that, sir. Thank you for expatiating on that. Mrs. Abimbola, please ask your question. Mrs. Abimbola? Okay.
Okay, I'm here. Good evening, sir. Thanks for the lecture. God bless you. I really enjoyed it.
Thank you so much.
When you were talking, you talked about being the showing goodness, then being kind and all that. I want to paint a scenario. What about those that they have this challenge attitude towards their work? Like in my place of work, we have a cleaner. She likes to go out at any point in time. In that organization, every one of us were nice to, let's say, one another. But she will go out and tell us that, just give me a few minutes, I'll be right back. She will not come to closing her. And we, it's a school system where you need a cleaner to do something for the little children. So the work will now, boil down to, it will now make the teacher to overwork. And after closing, this lady will be coming. And we've been kind, and to me, I don't know. I'm getting irritated about that behavior, because in this life, let's be kind to people, let's show goodness. But some people, they don't just want that. To me, what do you think we can do? Because I don't think sometimes all these you're telling we should be kind, all these values. Sometimes you give it to some people, yet they won't give you what you want. They will have this challenge attitude towards work. So how do we handle that?
So you now see how that lady has made you become a new person. You've adopted her low level. And what is associated with low level is struggle, resentment, anger, you lose your joy. So we ask yourself a question: do you want to be healthy or do you want to be right? And a lot of us want to be right, like what we are now justifying. Let me give you a classical example. I'm a managing director, so I have what I call house assistant. You see now, even calling that person a cleaner puts her in disadvantaged position. And
Hello,
now,
sir. Hello, sir.
yes,
We don't call
yes,
her cleaner. We don't use cleaner. We don't call people by their name. We are security. We call them by their name. I'm just telling you to let you know
okay,
how.
okay, that's
No,
fine.
we don't do
You see,
that. That
you see,
we call her
okay,
by
now
her name.
see that
We don't use
I don't call my house help, house help. I call them my house assistant. So one day, I prefer the toilet to be washed in a certain way based on my exposure. I've gone to hotels, I've gone everywhere, and how I operate is a function of my capacity, my exposure. Now, I have a certain way with which I want this to be done. So I called her, I said, bring me all the things that you have. And she brought, I started cleaning that. And I said, listen, you are here not because I don't clean, it's because of my time structure. You are important. You know, when we make people honorable, they function from that place of honor. When we enrich people's experience and see how secure they are. I work with people. I mean, I have over 100 and some people, employees, right? I mean, I'm doing so well, really, and it's difficult for them not to work. I'm not joking. So I went to clean. So one day I was in the air conditioner office and I oversee everywhere. I saw the security men. There was something they are doing. I left my office. I took the position bed. I said, go and rest. I was opening the gate with my jacket. I was sweating and over there. And they saw me for about 1 hour. My colleagues, they couldn't understand what I was saying. I can do this. Oh. And they can't do, guy. It's like you are incorporating yourself to them. See, when we talk about right, it brings us hypertension. But when we lose ourselves, we gain ourselves. Well, I'm kind of a religious person. You know, I mean, I don't want to bring that. You know, in our teaching, to say, if you want to gain your life, lose it. If you lose yourself, you gain it. If you gain yourself, you lose it. Let me bring a practical example. If you drive a car like I drive a car, and you are too careful about your car, they'll be hitting your car. But pay attention to other drivers, other users. When they want to make a mistake, you will see it and you dodge them. But if you focus on yourself, mommy, they'll be hitting your car. I mean, I learned that by experience. I like to drive my car. Don't touch it. Please don't touch it. You know, like you go to church and you park your car and people don't know how to open their car. They will scratch the car. Oh, irritation. Ooh. But when I realized that cars, you can't avoid it, they will scratch it. They stop scratching it. It's just somehow reversal psychology, how it was and all that. Will I say be too weak? No. Don't be weak. Okay, so one day, let me give you an instance. So I make food for my security man. So one day, I was in such a hurry, I didn't cover it well. And I realized that this cover did not represent me. It's not about him. I'm not giving him from who he is. I'm giving him from who I am. We treat people most times from who they are, not from who we are. We lose our values. And that is borrowed life. And that's what actually keeping management from moving on. So what did I do? I went back, I covered it. If I don't model that cover, it's likely that I'm going to instruct him that to serve me with that cover. But when I have served him, let me give you an instance. I like to do this. So one day, my assistants, I like to use the lower worker so that we bring this. My assistant was over there. I keep giving him something. So one day, this guy said, don't know how to give back. But I didn't ask. One day, as I was coming from work, I saw somebody holding something at the back. What was it? He knows I like coconut to do my buffet. He bought 2 coconuts. The next day, he bought banana, washed it the way I used to wash it. He put it, and I was shocked. So I have lost my dignity there. I've gained it. Not saying what I say is easy, but it's my opinion, and it's working for me, and I'm happy about it, and I'm productive around it. I'm functioning well. I think some of my colleagues, they can bear, some of them are here, they can bear me witness. I'm only offering an alternative. I say I offer alternative thinking, just in case you need it one day and try it. If it works, you send me offering.
Thank you very much, sir. Ms. Isabella, I'm sure you've been clarified. Mr. Goodipe, please ask your question. Wow, we have lots of hands raised up. Mr. Goodipe, please quickly ask your question.
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. Good evening, everyone. Thank you, sir, for the lecture. So, my question is, how do you manage a dishonesty employee that he always the person always tell lies and a kind of corny way of life that his way is not straightforward, and despite all the effort being good to him, he's always at the point of you you know you getting annoyed at times and all that. So how do you manage that kind of stuff?
Okay, so there's a story I read and I practiced it. So there's this particular boy who was very stubborn in school. Every time there's a problem, that boy was involved. Every time there was a problem, they expelled the guy, they did everything, he will come back to school and start. And it was difficult to really, and because the moment I know that everybody condemns me, I'm condemned. So one day, he did something again that the principal was supposed to find out, okay, leave the school. So the principal said, okay, you know what? Instead of this boy, okay, no, he was supposed to be flogged and disgraced. And so the principal took upon herself and said, please flog me. And she took that flogging. The guy went down for the first time, got broken. And that was the turn around. Most times we are struggling from home of rejection. Most times where we are coming from, they are abusing us. We have to consistently lie just to have a living. So now it has become part and parcel of us. Even when we do not want to lie, we lie. There's something I read about becoming a sweet leader. And it's not practiced in Africa, but I'm practicing it now. The first thing is purity, peace. How do I mean purity? Most times we judge people from our own error or weakness. Because sometimes it takes liar to identify a liar. It takes, but now when you become compassionate and sometimes hold the guy's hand and say, come, why do you lie? They will resist the first time. Go a bit as a leader. Go a bit again. Find comfort place. Find a way to keep reaching that person. Let me tell you, in leadership, one of the things that I wake up, I tell myself as a leader, number one, I'm a healer. Number two, I'm a messenger of hope. Number three, I am a transformer. Number four, I'm an enlightener. I am light in darkness. And number four, I'm an evidence. That means there's possibility. So as a leader, when you embody yourself with such attributes, it will help you to function from non-judgmental life to acceptance life. It's quite difficult what I'm telling you, but over the period of time, I have found transformation. I know for my colleague who was a perpetual liar, and I found out way deeper, he was lying because from his house, they had to lie to their parents to get something. And you see, it becomes a way of life. Even though they know, but they do not have the roots and the capacity to unturn it. So you too think that because you have been a truthful person, that it's easier for people to change from there. No, it takes a lot of reassurance. It takes a lot of transformation. It takes a lot of patience. It takes a lot of love from your own end. Do you understand? What I'm saying, anywhere I go, is usually, please, just 1 minute. 1 minute.
Okay, sir. No problem, sir.
Okay. Amos. 1 minute.
Yes, sir. Okay, so if you have any question, you can drop in the chat box, or you can raise up your hand to ask your question.
You. Sorry, the power went off.
Okay, sir. No problem, sir.
I want to warn everybody that my teachings are not the conventional teaching that I want to everybody want to abide and all that. But what I do is to challenge status quo and redefine standard and find better alternative way to be free, to lead well, leading yourself well. And remarkably, I mean, I've enjoyed it since 7 years I've started this path.
Wow, thank you very much, sir. One more question from my hand. So, from all of the values, probably you realize that one of the values is not very consistent with you, or you are yet to start implementing into your life. How do you transit from wherever state you are to those values? What's the process of transition?
Say that again.
Okay, so you made mention of the values we should have as entrepreneurs, as leaders. So how do you, and you realize that one of those values is not consistent with you? How do you transit? How do you get yourself to see yourself working practically in it? That's my
Okay,
question.
so this is
the process of transition.
So this is how.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, sorry. So this is how it runs. Okay. Your frustration in life, what frustrates you, trigger or inspires a change. Let's assume that you get angry when things do not align to your original self. Let's say, for instance, outcome. Every time outcome does not align to your desirable, how do you, and you keep getting upset, you keep getting down and moody. It's a wake-up call to find out an attribute, opposite attribute. We call it reversal thinking. You know that if bad is bad, bad cannot solve bad. You need an element of good to show the light. So I was an impatient person with people because I feel that people should be creative. And what are you doing? Why are you not thinking? Until I started making errors. And that shamed me. And I know that shame is as a result of a character flaw. And character flaws as a result of a value that is not directing me. So there's no priority. So now what did I do? I incorporated patience. I started researching about patience. Now suddenly you now see the benefit of being patient. Then I started doing what I call like my bedding. Every day I make my bed differently. So the more I make that bed patiently, the more I activate the power of patience. So you see how non-related matters is helping you to cultivate a strength. If I get into a space now, so one day we went to Abuja and we had a meeting. Everything was set. They kept us in a hotel for 6 hours. And the guy that brought me that fixed the meeting was he was restless. He was calling. He did it. I just sat down. The only time I moved was to ease myself, get water, and I was reading. At that moment, I stayed. When I left, he said, I'm a pastor with all my disposition. I do not have this character. What happened? How did you modify yourself to this calm, unperturbed? I said, see you now. Say you are losing energy. See me, I'm still together. I was laughing. So you now see that he has observed it. So now, when I was learning about calmness, I saw a woman. I was in a taxi and I was going. I could see literally how calm she was. That picture is still within me. Each time I'm struggling, the picture comes in because what we act, there are pictures in our mental region that we flow from. All you need to do is to replace that picture in your mental region and you flow from it. The people that use it a lot are footballers. You see, footballers, when they are not doing well and they find somebody who is doing well, they embodied the value of that person. How the person sleep, how the person talk, the discipline around that, and they unlock it. So they put it like a mental picture. They start working on it. By the time you see it, everybody's doing Ronaldo. What are they doing? They have changed their mental formation into that. So unconsciously, they are now superimposing the former consciousness, the picture now. So I'm placing from that place. So picture, that's why I say, if you connect to the wise, you are wiser. You draw their strength. So the way to do it is to find somebody who embodied that virtue and now stay close to them, embody them. You'll see that the energy will be transferred if you're open to it.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for that explanation. Sir, can you still take one more question? Can you?
Yes, I'm here. Yes.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. Okay, Chichi Abraham, you raised your hand, so please go ahead and ask your question.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening to you.
For that extensive presentation. Thank you so very much. Yes, in the course of your presentation, you said motivation is better than inspiration. You said motivation is better than inspiration. So I kept wondering, is there no link between the two of them, or is it two different things entirely?
Okay, so let me give you an instance. I like to bring this scenario into place, right? There's a man we called, it was a leader called David. So David had know who he is as a builder and as a enricher. So he has gathered people from all walks of life who were nobody. Now he has built them. So one day they went out for exploration. By the time they got back, armed robbers has come to take all of them. Now, he was with them. He didn't stay back home. And they said they were accusing him. He has the power at that point to be motivated from what they are doing to punish all of them. In fact, because he has called people who would have said, okay, let me evacuate them. Say, I have brought you now, so now you have voice. No, he said he encouraged himself. What does encourage mean? He went into himself and be inspired that I'm a builder, I'm an enricher, I'm an enlightener. I'm model for me. Great leaders are inspired. Even when you are motivated outside, that motivation has energy. But once it comes from you, out of you shall flow rivers of water, good ideas inside. So inspiration initiates, motivation sustained. You need inspiration to kickstart whatever you need to do because it's coming natural. You need the profit to motivate you to do more. You need the outcome to motivate you. But you don't need motivation to start. That's why I'm not a motivational speaker. They puff you up. But inspiration makes you to think. When you think and it becomes original, you authenticate that action. So authenticity means it's coming from your nature. It's coming from your originality. And it carries no strength. If I said I'm motivated to do business because the economy is bad, when I see obstacle, I will give up. But if I'm inspired, when I see obstacle, I will say obstacle is part of the. In fact, that obstacle will motivate me now to do more, which is where resilience comes in. It's the people are motivated to marry. And when the motivation for, let's say, for instance, I see a fine girl who works for MTN. You were motivated because she works in MTN. And now, when she loses that job, will you have the motivation to continue? You see, that's why people say, no, they do again. Why? But when you are inspired, now you are connecting to that person through your assignment. You are not driven by need. You are driven by your value system. Because when you are driven by your need, you lose your value. When you're driven by your value, you will meet your need. Capacity is within. The kingdom is within you. So that's a slight difference between inspiration, inspired, motivated. Go and check the dictionary about them. We use words without going to dictionary. Every time you want to use word, go to dictionary, find the root. It will help you to embody that word. It's like people say, I hustle. My side hustle. That's why they are struggling. I don't know whether I've helped you.
Madam Chichi, I believe he has answered your question. Hey, another.
Thank you very much. Thank you. All right.
Thank you.
Wow. Thank you so much, Sam, for this wonderful session. It's been a very, very enlightening moment. Thank you for taking us through the journey of the values we need to have as entrepreneurs, as leaders. Yes, we are not just bosses, but we are leaders. And thank you so much for that wonderful moment. So, please, let's unmute our mic and say a very big thank you to Mr. Patrick. Please unmute your mic and say a big thank you to Mr. Patrick. Drop in the chat box if you can't unmute your mic. Say thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. It was nice being here.
Wow.
And that's why we're changing the concept of political party that is a ruling political party to a leading political party. That's why we have rulers in Africa rather than leaders in Africa. So we need to be able to change that dimension in us. So thank everybody. If you want to reach me, please collect my number from her. I can help you in some few things, or a private chat me. She will give you my details, and I could help where I can help. Thank you so much.
I really wanted to ask about that before you said it now.
Yeah, so my number is 080. Can I give them?
Yes, sure. Please go ahead, sir. Please go ahead, sir.
Yeah.
Very
080
Okay.
33
33
411
411
451. I'll take it again. 080
080
33
33
411
41
451.
41.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. I appreciate this honor. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
They told me you saw my hand. You didn't call me.
Oh, so I'm wow, so sorry for that. In fact, I thought you left the meeting because at the point he said Mrs. Oyebode Omomi has left. I'm so sorry. I apologize sincerely.
For the network.
Oh, sorry. So sorry about that. I apologize. Thank you for waiting to this moment, Mr. Thank you for waiting to this moment. Tomorrow is an exciting opportunity. I know you are all blessed. You are all enlightened in today's meeting. And tomorrow is another meeting on real estate. We're in the year of Abuja Realtor program. We are bringing the person, the brain behind that program on board tomorrow. So you don't want to miss out. You don't just want to miss out in tomorrow's meeting. So join me this time, 7:50, not this time, sorry. Join me tomorrow by 7:15 p.m. for another meeting, for another wonderful session, another enlightening session about real estate. So I would do well to send you the flyer tomorrow, and you can check my Instagram page, the Business Health Expert, to see the speaker that is coming up tomorrow, or I could get to receive the flyer tomorrow. Thank you for this wonderful moment. Don't forget, my name is Tomim, with the brand name, the Business Health Expert. And when it comes to promoting your business using videos, Mr. Casey, you want to say something?
Yeah. Yes, please. The number of Mr. Patrick 080-3341-3411. Is it correct?
080.
Please correct me if I'm wrong.
080-3341-1451. You can chat me up on WhatsApp. I'll also send it to you again in case you didn't get it.
51.
Yes.
Okay. 1451.
Yes.
Sorry, man. Why not drop it on the message? Why not drop it on the message box, man, for us?
Okay, no problem. Okay, I'll do that right away. Just wait to the end. Let me quickly give this announcement. So I was trying to say, I will do well to drop it. Don't worry. I was trying to say, I noticed Mrs. Abibola and Mrs. Chichi took down the number, so you can also help them. But don't worry, I'll drop it. So as I was saying, my name is Tommy with the brand name, the Business Health Expert. When it comes to promoting your business, getting massive customer, plenty customer to your business and having quality sales, I am your go-to person. So reach out to me to promote your business online using videos and digital marketing. And when it comes to handling your social media pages, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and the likes, my team and I are ready to offer you our service. You just need to reach out to us. We discuss on where we can come in and we give out our prices.
Tommy, I've given you my company.
Thank you very much.
I've given you my company contract. I've given you.
Hello, sir. I can't hear you again, Mr. Casey. Okay, Dr. Abigail, thank you for dropping that number. Mr. Casey, I will do what to reach out to you on WhatsApp. I didn't hear you. You're muted. But thank you, Dr. Abigail. I hope, Mr. Casey, you've seen the number. The number is 080-3341-1451. Thank you, Dr. Abigail. So do have a wonderful night. Don't forget tomorrow's speaking engagement is going to be superb on real estate. Yeah, you just don't want to miss out. This one, that inflation is affecting everybody. They say real estate is the best investment, and so come to hear the secrets around real estate, and so that you can profit from it. So do have a wonderful night. Let me hear your voice telling me good night.
Thank you.
Good night.
Thank you.
Good night.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good night.
Good night.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Thank you all. Let me end the recording so I can. Thank you, and thank you.